Welcome back, episode 2. Today, I'm going to be sharing some tips to boost your vocal confidence as a professional woman. So, whether you are in business for yourself, whether you work for someone else, whether you are in a management position, or a teacher, or an author, or a doctor, or any of these professions that I have helped women, men too, but things are really gearing up for the women. This is the place to be. I'm so glad that you are here. If you are just tuning in, I am Sloane Reali. I am an expert voice and confidence coach. I have been teaching, oh my goodness, for over 2 decades. And part of why this show has been created and born, I've given birth to a new baby, is because I have spent over 2 decades working with people from all backgrounds, all different professions, all different reasons for coming for voice. If you tuned into the last episode, I shared a little bit about my journey there. It really started out first as working with people to help them learn how to sing and do it confidently. And I've spent some time in Los Angeles with emerging artists and groups and touring bands and all of that. And what has happened is I am seeing a lot more need and people needing assistance and just in learning how to use their voice appropriately, use their voice safely. And the end goal, the ultimate icing on the cake, to step in and use your voice with confidence. And I just have so much information and content, and there's only one of me, and there are many, many, many of you. And so this was the next logical way to get this information out on the airways. So today we are talking about just three simple things that I'm going to share with you. But before we jump in there, I want to share the story of Alice. Alice is a woman that I know who has withheld her thoughts and her experiences either out of consideration for others or from fear of being embarrassed. She's now able to contribute to and speak up at meetings at work. She's learned by speaking up or sharing another point of view in a conversation on a project or whatever it is. She's a meeting or a community effort, something that they're putting together. She has learned that she can speak up and share her point of view in a conversation, and that she actually may be providing some wisdom and encouragement. So I know that if you are a woman and you're listening to this, some of you might be able to relate to whether it's at work or at home, in your own home, not feeling heard, not feeling acknowledged, not feeling valued. And I personally can speak to that, my own background. I remember, wow, when we were in the thick of it, 3 kids, all elementary school age. If you are that woman listening, I hear you, sister. I'm here. I get it. I've been there. I've done it. I didn't do it well, and I'm sure I had moments in my frustration and my anger, and I remember so many days, at the kitchen sink, doing dishes and thinking, God, is this all there is? Is this what my life has amount? Is this all there is? Like, this is my life. Dishes and laundry and kids back and forth in school and sports and ugh. And I remember being so frustrated and this was while I had my vocal coaching practice. So I loved being able, and I still do, but going to work was a treat for me to be able to get my hair, my makeup, and get my clothes on and go work with voice clients. Still to this day is so satisfying. I absolutely love what I do, and I love the clients that I get to work with. Everyone is different and wonderful, and I'm still learning, even over 2 decades in this profession. But I remember being so frustrated and depressed, and just feeling like I was stuck, feeling like, God, I have so much more to offer. I have so much more to give. And even in my own home, feeling like, my kids didn't appreciate me. My husband is a startup guy, and he has always had his own stuff going on, and just not feeling valued. And I think what that did for me is it was actually a trigger for growing up in a home where I I literally had no voice. I was not allowed to speak up or share my opinion. I was never asked what I thought, what I wanted. It was just, do as I say, and you were told, you were given instructions about everything from menial tasks to things that were still menial. I was told how to do it. And I was, there was only one way. Growing up, it was one way or no way. And if you didn't do it the way you were being told to do it, there were repercussions, and sometimes severe. And fast forward, all these years later, and all the work that I've done with my own voice, with my own confidence, with clients that I've served now for years. I think one of the most exciting things is to learn there's actually more than one way to get anything done. There's more than one way to accomplish any task. And I think a lot of the challenges I was faced with, raising my own family, were I was stuck. I only learned the one way. And so I think I got stuck in that, not realizing, oh, wait, there is more than one way. And I tell you who really taught me that. It was my kids. My kids are all very different. And all very different energy levels, very different vibrations that they operate at, but and very creative. And I learned from them. There could be a task that we need to accomplish as a family, and to let everybody get in there and accomplish it in their own way, sometimes often a much better, more efficient way than I could have given them, is so exciting. So I want to encourage you, if you are listening today, please note, no matter how you were raised, no matter how you grew up, no matter how wonderful or awful, we all have our different backgrounds. The people who raised us did the best they could with what they had. I've had to work through a lot of anger and a lot of forgiveness and a lot of acceptance in my own way that I grew up. And I think I have a lot of compassion now moving forward. They really were doing the best that they could with what they had. But it's very exciting to learn and know, man, one task, 20 different people in the room, you might have 20 different ways of getting it accomplished. So, but I digress. Coming back to boosting your vocal confidence as a professional woman. The story that I shared earlier of Alice, I think what keeps us quiet and shut down is that fear again of being judged, the fear of making a mistake. Oh my goodness, what if I don't do it right? And it's all part of the journey, but we don't have to get stuck there. We don't have to let that rule every decision that we make. We don't have to let that rule whether we speak up and contribute in a conversation or not. And I guess that's where I was going with the digression there, was we don't realize we actually might have the missing link. We might actually see the task or the project, see something in there that nobody else is seeing. This happens so much to me nowadays because I'm so open to feedback and what others have or what others have to contribute. And if I'm asked, if I'm invited and asked for my contribution, and especially, there is a big key right there. Ladies, if you are being asked, what do you think? That is your invitation to share. What do you think? Right, wrong, indifferent, if you're being asked, you're being invited. And that is not the time to be shrinking back and think, oh, well, well, I don't know, but maybe, well, no, speak up, share your truth, share your thoughts and your ideas. Now, this is the thing. Your thoughts or ideas may not be used, but better that you share them than holding and keeping them to yourself. Make sense? So if you're asked, you're being invited. That is an open door. And do not take it personally if they don't use your idea. The important thing is that they asked, and even more important, that you spoke up and you shared. Very important. So confidence really is a key to our success, to any success in the professional world, especially for women. 3 things that you can do, that you can practice. I shared that story there. 1, 3 simple things, 3 quick things, right? To boost your confidence as a professional woman. 1 is to practice speaking in front of the mirror. And I know this feels so weird. And I share this with all of my clients. Every voice client I've ever worked with, the mirror is an excellent tool to actually see what you're doing, how you're using your voice. What are you doing with your jaw, with your lips? Is your mouth closed? And if you are listening on the podcast, you can't see this, but if you're on video, I'm demonstrating right here of somebody who doesn't open their mouth very much, right? There's not a lot of energy able to escape if I'm not opening my mouth all of the way. There's a technique I use called open forward placement. You might know the term as projection. You've heard this term in theater and over the years, sing like you have a grapefruit in your mouth, open all of that up, move all of that energy. So the mirror is a great place to catch that. The other thing that the mirror catches is other things that we're doing. Our posture, our body alignment. Are we hunched over when we're speaking? When we're hunched over, you are actually constricting. We're closing up in your body your solar plexus, which is connected to the diaphragm, which is connected to your lung capacity. You're playing small. You're minimizing the space that you take up. Again, the mirror is a great tool to practice getting bigger, taking up that space. I'm a weather channel junkie. I watch the weather every day for all over the country. And it's so interesting to watch all of the different weather channel people, all of the newscasters, and how they carry themselves on the stage, on the camera. Make a note of that if you're into the weather channel or you watch news or anybody who's giving any type of a report. Watch how they take up space. They didn't get there by playing small, by shrinking. So the mirror, I can't say enough, it's a wonderful tool. Using power poses, again, one way to boost your confidence before a meeting or a presentation. Now, another thing I love to do, I call it getting into state. So we get into state by doing any number of things. I have a thing I've done for years. It's called a vocal swoop. We are drawing air and energy. We're usually standing when we do this exercise. We're drawing air and energy up from the planet through the bottoms of your feet, up through your legs, your solar plexus, your lungs, out the top of your head, making a whole lot of sound. And then we're bringing it all the way back down through the body, landing back into the planet again. It's very silly. It's weird. We laugh a lot. We have a ton of fun. But if you imagine your body is much like a garden hose. And let's say that you're out there, not that we need to be watering our plants right now with all the rain we're having, but let's say that you're out there in a dry spell and you're watering your flowers around the corner and all of a sudden the hose runs dry. There's no water coming out of the hose. What has happened to the hose? Right? You've gotten a kink in it somehow. And so we go back and we're wrangling with the hose and we're throwing that thing around until you get the kink out of it. Our body is the same thing, acts in the same way. It's very easy. We have energy centers in the body. It's very easy for those to get kinked up. Either, we're our posture, we're not sitting correctly, we're not breathing correctly. If you're under a lot of stress, constriction would affect the body. If you're worried, if you're depressed, mental health and wellness, that's a whole nother episode that we're going to get into at a later date. But all of these things affect whether or not energy is flowing correctly in your body or not. So, power poses are one way to open up and move energy out of the body, especially unwanted energy, energy that sucks the life out of you, energy. And then the third thing, acknowledging your strengths and your accomplishments and remembering to bring those things up when you are in a conversation, or you have some special skill, maybe that the people that you work with, or if you're on a special project, maybe they're not even aware that you've done this before, right? So again, it does not serve you or anybody else if you are not speaking up, if you are not sharing your truth, if you are not saying what works for you and what does not. I am currently, as we speak, I've been practicing the power of no. Oh, so hard, especially for a person like me. Spent my life being everywhere and everything to everybody, and I've had a lot of success. I've done a lot of different things, and I've had success in a lot of them. And so I think it gets tricky if you've been successful in many areas and with many different jobs or professions. It gets tricky to say no. And I've been practicing that as I am moving into the next level with this vocal coaching thing. Again, I shared in the last episode, I never expected this to be what it has turned into. I am so incredibly grateful. And the people that I'm serving today has really evolved. I do still work with singers and presenters and emerging artists and professions all across the board. But it's way deeper. I'm way more at this point. There's a fire in me that I've never experienced, and it comes back to stories like Alice's that I shared with you earlier, who didn't feel heard, didn't feel validated, too afraid to speak up, living under that cloud of fear every day, going to a job maybe that you really love, that you enjoy, but you're not, you've reached that ceiling and there's more. It was me, the dishes and the laundry and the kids, 10 years ago. Oh my gosh, is this all there is? Getting to that place of there has to be more. But I wasn't using my voice. I wasn't speaking up. I wasn't asking for help when I needed it. I wasn't setting boundaries where there needed to be boundaries set. And the power of no, scary, but wow, the results, it's freeing me up to be able to do this podcast for y'all. It's been very interesting experiment to see the results. And when I actually put into practice those things that I coach my clients to do, the results are amazing. So just in a quick review for you ladies, tips to boost your confidence, especially as a professional woman in the workplace, or if you're starting your own business and you're just lacking that little piece that says, yes, I can do this. And this is across the board. I mean, intelligent women, like rocket scientists, women in aerospace, lawyers, teachers, authors, doctors, intelligent, successful women having a hard time with this stuff. So today's tips were very brief, very short. Number one, practice speaking in front of the mirror. The mirror is a wonderful tool. Don't worry about what your hair looks like. Don't worry about, that extra weight that you got on. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at what are you doing with your voice. And by the way, you can make yourself 3 inches taller just by practicing good posture. Use the mirror as a tool in your favor. Number two, power poses. We talked about taking up space, right? Practicing your talk or your presentation or what you have to cover in a group meeting in front of the mirror. Do it in front of the mirror. And number three, acknowledging your strengths and your accomplishments. And do not play small. Do not make them, oh, it wasn't that big a deal. I worked on that aerospace project, back then. But no, that's a huge deal, right? Oh, it's not a big deal that I've got my PhD in this thing. It was, hello. Yes. First woman in your family to get their PhD, right? In this generation, these are the clients, these are the people that I'm working with. So if you have struggled with any of these things, please know that you're not alone. We're all in this together. This community that we're creating, jump on in, both feet, all the way. I'm releasing new episodes every single week. If you haven't, some other places you can go grab some resources, and I'll put all of these in the show notes. The website, Vocal Coaching by Sloane, the YouTube channel, Sloane Reali, Vocal Coaching by Sloane. If you are a woman watching, listening, here with me right now, please head over to the Find Your Voice, Rock Your Confidence Facebook group. I have some extra special things coming in that group. We've got some free gifts. I've got some trainings on the horizon. A lot of I'm just giving it away. I'm giving you because y'all, I can't continue to meet one-on-one with people and get it out fast enough. I am a resource for you. You are welcome to send me a message through the website, DMs about any of this. You just want to jump on a discovery call with me, reach out. We'll get you on the calendar. But in the meantime, thank you so much. I would love it if you would subscribe. If there's someone that you care about, that that could use a couple of tips, just a little extra support around their voice, I'd love for you to share this with them. And until next time, keep calm, keep breathing. And if you're a singer, sing a song.